up, everybody out there on YouTube? Bryson Michael RC here, and you just seen the beginning of this. I apologize for the lighting being off. I actually had the LED light set on it, and I figured it wouldn't be as dark as that, but I don't know why it got that dark. I had the light on in the kitchen along with the LED light on it, and it still was super dark, so I've got to figure out why the GoPro was so extremely dark, but I tried to get you guys as much as possible. If you guys remember, like I said at the very beginning of this video, this is the all-white one that I said I wasn't going to finish. I just wanted something in the regular 3D filament to set on the shelf and just kind of look at. And getting this airbrush, I just want to airbrush stuff, and I picked this up the other day, and I was like, you know what, this would look really good, and I've got the colors to do it, and I think I have the know-how to do it. Super simple to do. Love this piece, and I'm so happy that I went ahead and finished it. I may go in here later, I'm not 100% sure, because I didn't do any smoothing, so I didn't use any primer filler or any Bondo or anything like that. You can still get up here real close, and you can see, in fact from far away, you can see the 3D printed lines all over this thing. But at a distance, it's going to be a shelf piece at a distance, you know, far enough back. It still looks really, really great. The main concerns that I have that you can see the 3D print in is the emblems, because you can see it really bad there and really bad there. But I'm okay with it. I really am. This thing just looks absolutely great. And if you want to get a nice little piece that you can just quickly do with an airbrush and get some practice in or something like that, and it's quick to print and stuff, this is the print for you. It's not that big. You can see, I'll put my hand up to it. This is how big it is. This is called the Good Samaritan from HellBoy, and I'm probably not going to put the word GU in the title or anything or description anywhere. I apologize for that, but with the apocalypse and all the rules of YouTube and stuff like that, they do demonetize for using the word what it is. So I'm just going to call this from henceforth the Good Samaritan. And I'm just going to kind of tell you how I airbrush this and such. We'll start here with the bullets. These are shotgun shells. They were printed in black, Amazon Prime PLA. And you can see the black underneath it because I didn't do the bottoms. I'm going to end up gluing these because they do, anytime you kind of mess around with it, they do fall down. So I think I'm just going to glue them in place. All I did with these is sprayed them a regular red at first, and then I went over with a more closer to color red after that. With an airbrush, it's good to use a primer because the airbrush paint doesn't stick too well, or you can put just a really light coat of any type of acrylic airbrush paint, just a really light coat, and then let it dry all the way, and then your secondary coat's going to go on a lot thicker. And I kind of sprayed the first one on thicker than it needed to be, that way I could get it to kind of run a little bit, so it would cause shadowing and stuff like that, and would give it more of a natural look to it, so it has some grime and such on it whenever the regular red went on it. So it's not just one solid red color, you can actually see some shade and stuff in it, and that way I wouldn't have to go over it with the black prior to. Since the PLA was already black, I didn't want to have to go through all that. These are the regular bullets, and again, black Amazon PLA. Same thing, went real heavy with the gold on the first layer, and then I let it dry, and then I went with a light layer of gold over the top of it, so it would give it that nice shade, that shadow kind of towards the top and bottom. And then I just got some silver. I taped this all up, just one big strip of tape like that, and just did silver on the top, metallic silver. This is all acrylic paint from Walmart, actually, that I diluted down with water, that I thinned down with water. This, and this were painted with 98-cent acrylic paint from Walmart. It's called Apple Barrel. So you can get metallic colors, you can get basic colors. My Walmart has hundreds of different colors. So you can just do that and dilute it down with water. What I typically do is when I finish off a bottle or something, I'll clean it out and then Like with the red, what I did is I squirted half of the red into one of the empty bottles, and I kept the other half in, and I kept mixing water into it and shaking it up until I got it right. And then in the other one, and then I had 2 bottles of water and acrylic, which weren't 2 full bottles of paint, but they were both evenly mixed up how I wanted them. And then as I used the red bottle, I just top it off with the other one as I go through. So it just seems to me the easier way to do it. The stand here, this is meant to look like, in my eyes, I wanted this to look like the felt that goes on top of like pool tables and such. And so I used a pretty bright green, and I went over it several times. This green is an actual airbrush color. It's called Creatix airbrush colors. And I got a whole package of these of all the regular prime colors that you can mix together and get other solid colors and stuff. And this runs through an airbrush really, really good. I got these from Amazon. And this is just straight this color, no other color added to it right there. And this whole thing, the stand and the gun both, is printed in a white Amazon Basic PLA. The whole thing, you can see at the beginning of the video how these are completely white. It's that white Amazon Basic PLA. And what I did before I painted any of it, the stand and the gun, is I sprayed both of them 100% black. That way, because it's kind of hard to get a solid good color on white or any other colors. If you want to get, you know, the full color out of it, I would suggest, I find the best way to do it is to paint the entire thing black and then do one coat, let it dry, and then do another coat, and then you'll get the actual solid, you know, full color without any shadowing or anything like that. For the gunmetal color that's down here and that's in here, I took this folk art regular acrylic paint and mixed in some of this metallic folk art into the black, but not a whole lot, just barely put some of this in it just so you could get the silver flakes in with the licorice black here. It then diluted it down with water so it would go through the airbrush, because these are regular acrylic paints. Again, note that I either get flat or matte colored, because you can put a shine on it later if you want to put a clear coat or something on it, but gunmetal's typically like a matte color or something like that. So then I sprayed, taped it up, sprayed the stand. Well, the stand was done last, but with the gun, taped it up and sprayed it with the black, and you can see in here that it has the flakes in it. And then what I did over the top of it is I just did regular metallic, and I went up to, I turned the PSI up just a little bit so I had a fuller spray, and I held the airbrush way back, and I just went over it a couple times, just basically throwing out the flakes on it, and got a real nice, right here, this color here, just really, really good gunmetal black. And then I basically went in with some rub and buff and hit all the edges, hit all the main edges, and then some, just kind of made it a little messy here and there. It helps with the weathering and stuff. Some silver rubbing buff. Rubbing buff is awesome, and you'll see that. You've seen that in the video if you watch the whole part of the beginning of this video. I just took a Q-tip and dipped it in and just kept going. Rubbing buff goes a long ways. You don't need very much. Did all the edges. Did the emblems here, and then I did the front part inside of the gun, which I probably should have did black, but I like it. And then for the handle, it looks like a real nice leather. I went through and colored it a sand, just a real light brown, and then I went over the top of it with regular this licorice color, this regular licorice color, down here on the bottom, on the back of the handle where your grip would be, and then up here kind of where the weathering and grime would be. Went real heavy with the licorice black, and then I took this field drab army color, dark brown, and went lightly over the top of it and got that real nice leather look. That's got a little bit of weathering and stuff to it. It looks really good. I think this handle looks great. And then the last thing was I just went inside here with the gold, same gold that I put on here. It's the same as this, but it's gold instead of silver. It's gold. Just kind of sprayed in there to make it look like a bullet was inside of there. Since I could, this isn't one. You can see that it stops right here. You can actually print this barrel here and actually print these bullets off and put them in it. There's all sorts of upgrades and stuff to this. There's also another piece that goes here as a safety that I think I need to print off and put on this. There's a different hammer. I actually downloaded the entire STL files and the handle didn't fit right, so I went and got a completely different handle that has the emblem in it. The first handle that I printed didn't have the emblem in it, the first handle that came with this whole thing. So I went and found a different handle, and I also went and found another one of these because you can actually get the ones with the chains and stuff on it, but my printer doesn't print that great, and you guys can see in the original video that I did where this is all white, I explained how my printer didn't print these very good, and so I went ahead and just did the one loop on it, which is also done the same way that all this is done with the gunmetal coloring and then the rub and buff. So that's basically the gist of it, and I'll take this off the stand so you guys can just kind of see the stand. It's not the greatest print. It was an actual quick print. This was printed at 0.2 millimeter layer height. Typically I do 0.15 millimeter layer height, and you can definitely tell when it comes to like the roughness of these stands. But I didn't think I needed this to be too awful squished together and detailed, because it was just going to be a stand. Originally, when it was just going to all be white, you couldn't really tell. But I think it turned out great. Having a real rustic stand actually looks great. It actually looks like it's being used. Same thing with all this, the gunmetal black all the way around it, and then I used the rub and buff all along here and in there and all along here and on the edges and stuff. And then the gun, you can see there's this side of it, and then there's that side of it without the emblem, and underneath it. And this does come apart, breaks open, and then the front cocks open. But I'm not actually going to do that because this is going to be a piece to just go on a stand. And so I'm actually going to glue this in place here, and I'm going to glue each one of these in place there, and glue all this shut. That way if this ever falls, it still just stays in place because it's perfect. So again, if you guys want a small piece that you guys can get some airbrushing practice, this is the second piece. Well, the first small piece, the second actual full piece that I've done 100% airbrushed, and I love it. I love it, and it's making me more confident with the airbrush and stuff, especially blending colors, doing that gunmetal. I just did that on a whim. I actually didn't look up any videos to see how you do it or anything like that. I just said this is kind of common sense in my mind. I'm going to see if it works, and it did. It worked perfectly. And so the shading on the handle, that's another thing that I've been working with. And I've been working with using water after I get done blending colors to go over it with one light coat of water to really blend stuff together. I'm working on a dinosaur head and getting the correct bone colors and getting all sorts of different colors into it, and then taking water and just using gravity to blend those colors together. So there's a lot of different stuff that I'm working on. I'm also working on taking a lot of these acrylics and getting the perfect blend in them, and trying different types of actual, these two right here are actual airbrush paints. And this is a regular acrylic because I don't want to be held down to just these. I want to be able to go out to my Walmart anytime I want and be able to use these. I'm still at the point where these clog up the airbrush way faster than these. But I'm getting a lot closer. In fact, I got the black to a point at one point where it wasn't clogging it up at all, and it was running perfectly just like these do. So I think I basically got the correct blend together, but a little bit more practice is in order, and that's it. So this one's a lot different than I've done any other cosplays and stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed this. You guys Have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys later. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell so you can be notified when I put out more videos of cosplay. Again, we've got the Wookiee Planet clone helmet coming up here pretty soon, and the American flag original Stormtrooper helmet. And those are going to be a blast. We'll see you guys later. Have a good one.